The nitty-gritty of elimination communication, which is essentially potty training my infant at 6 months old. Now, let me preface this by saying that I am not an expert on elimination communication. I saw that it was $50 to get the book on elimination communication, and I thought, you know what, I bet I can figure this out. So take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt or a handful of salt or all the salt in the world, or just ignore me altogether. But this is what we've been doing, and this is what's been working for us. So in terms of the actual potty that we use, I used to use that little baby potty, but the problem with it was we had a few accidents where he peed on the floor, and I thought, you know what, let me just try having him on the big toilet. So what I do now, I uncinch his diaper, take him to the toilet, I then whip the diaper off, straddle the toilet facing the back of the toilet, so I'm facing the opposite way, put my son also facing my same direction between my legs. I hold the bottom of his legs like here, and I go shh, and I count to maybe like 120. So I give him like 2 minutes to see if anything happens. If anything happens, I then start counting to 60. One thing that I will note, which I think is really important, is I try not to force him to stay on the toilet if he does not want to be there. So if there's any signal that he's unhappy, if he's wriggling, if he's crying, I immediately just pick him up, take him back to the changing table, and put his diaper back on, because I do not want to create any negative associations. And in terms of when I do this, my rule of thumb, broad strokes, is whenever we're changing activity or scenery, I give him the opportunity to use the toilet before a nap, after a nap, before we leave the house, when we get home from a house, before a feed, after a feed. Basically, whenever we're changing activity, I see if he needs the bathroom. The question I got was around whether we use disposable versus cloth diapers. My plan is to crack on with disposable diapers until my son can walk. And then I say this now, let's see what happens, but my plan is to then introduce cloth diapers and also like a little baby potty so that he can walk himself to the toilet. And hopefully the cloth diaper will also gently incentivize him to use the potty instead of continuing to potty in his diaper. Now, you might be wondering about accidents. We've only had one instance where we've had an accident where he pooped on the floor because I didn't make it to the bathroom in time, and that was when I introduced my approach around unfastening the diaper and then taking it off in the toilet. But honestly, sometimes I chicken run into the bathroom with him without his diaper on, and he's totally fine. So when you consider how many times he's used the toilet now, it must be at least 100, I would say. We've had one accident. Other than that, I feel like he's getting it. Like, genuinely, I feel like he is wrapping his mind around it. And, I was also nervous about how hard this would be, and is it easier to just keep them in diapers and then when they get a little bit older, then spend 3 days hardcore teaching them how to use the bathroom. Honestly, this just feels very relaxed, and I do it when I have time. If I worked or if I had to spend my day outside the house, I couldn't do this, but as a stay-at-home mom, it has been working perfectly for us. And I also kind of think that he likes not sitting in his own mess. I think that he kind of appreciates being able to use the toilet and not having to go in his diaper. We'll see what happens once he starts to walk and once we kind of turn up the ante of expectations on him going to the bathroom. But for now, as I said, it's very relaxed. We don't force him. If he looks like he doesn't want to be on the toilet, we take him off the toilet and watch this space. I hope that helps. Again, I'm not an expert on this. Let me know if you have any questions about how we're doing it.